Welcome back to the channel, y'all. Today we're going to be looking at a film called Cockroach by Ai Weiwei. It's about the Hong Kong protest movement. A good friend of mine was the cinematographer for this, so hopefully we can get Raul on the show at some point and talk through some of the things that happened during the filming of this. So we're going to take a look at the trailer and break down what makes some of the shots so good. We're going to look at the color, the depth, and just kind of the pacing of the trailer. So let's dive in. Okay, cool. So I'll just scrub through real quick. So first of all, we start off with this amazing shot with this guy in a gas mask in this strange corridor. And let's just stop right here. I mean, right here, look at this shot and the depth. Throughout here, your eyes are just drawn into what we're going to see next into this trailer. And you look at our first shot. Every time we look throughout this trailer, we'll look a few times, you'll see that the camera leads your eye through. So a lot of the times you're going to be seeing these long lines coming through, long lines. And I mean, look at the depth of blue we have here coming out with the color. I mean, this is a great place to do a shot. I don't know what part during the filming this was decided, but this is more of like a amazing find for a location during a documentary to pull this shot out. And let's just scrub through a little bit. And then there's really some, I mean, this is what you use a drone for these huge crowds you have here. I mean, look at this large area of crowd here, and what a city Hong Kong is. I mean, this is really, Hong Kong is one of those sci-fi Blade Runner type cities, and you can really see it here in this shot where you have all these buildings set up with their crazy lights, and then you have a whole protest movement going on over here. And our general tone for these shots in our level, I mean, we're keeping just above the blacks and just below like our top light. So we're really filling in all the space of the light we have on our meter. Okay, let's scrub through a little bit. And you see, once again, this is what I'm talking about, that we have a high shot now here where you're continually having your eye move forward. Everything is about depth. And, we're shooting against the light here, which is something I really like to see. I mean, it's something that's, you need to know your camera and you need to know how you're going to expose for that. But that's something that's looking really nice here. Okay, let's move forward a little more. Top shot, so right away, the edit, we've had very different shots that's allowing the viewer to constantly be stimulated by something new. We have something more wide. We're already at tight with the movement, wide, and then straight from the top down. So you're having different points of view. And then another drone shot. I mean, this is what was perfect about Hong Kong, because you had these huge amounts of people. And once again, lines. This is what we like to see is creating perspective, creating depth out of our screen is a 2D space. So we're trying to make that 2D space into 3D. And so how do we do that? You have these huge lines coming out. So your eyes are being drawn to that perspective. Your eyes are being drawn to the perspective of the buildings. I mean, this is amazing stuff to think about when you're out shooting, is how you're going to shoot it and what's going to give it the best visual representation. Okay, so we got a shot just of the people here. I mean, everybody looks, so blended in here. This just gives you a scale of how many people are at these protests. See, once again, I mean, this is nice because he's really using this set of dark and light. And if you look at our waveform, I mean, the whole spectrum is basically being filled. Maybe a little bit more on the top. These would be really too hot because you can see how hot the level is here. And this is really pulling out. But what works here is because you have such contrast. You have contrast between everybody wearing black. Every shirt is black. You have our darkened space down here and our light space up here. You know, look at this with the different angle, right? You know, we have dark and light. So that's really looking really, really awesome. Okay, let's go up through a little bit more. Okay. Okay, see? Now look at this series of protesters. Okay, we have this to this, to this, this. So you've created many shots, many different shots and different angles from the same scene, because basically you have these protesters marching all the time. And once again, what do we see every time? First of all, this shot's pretty high, so you imagine that the camera must have been on some high tripod at this point to be able to see over the heads. And what are we going to see again? This is something that we keep seeing to come up, is we have perspective. You know, we're following the lines. We're coming down here. We're seeing a lot of depth in a two-dimensional screen. We're finding a way to make it look three-dimensional. That is the name of the game. Make a 2D space look three-dimensional. Okay, so you see that this is the aftermath. So you go through all the protesters, and then now you have this amazing, I mean, this is a really slick drone move. They keep it simple. You see, you keep it simple. And once again, what you have here is you have this perspective. You'll see how different this area, if you focus on this area, you're going to see how different that looks from the perspective as the drone is flying in. And then right after that, you're going to start to get into some more action shots. Start with the tear gas. Boom. Police are shooting, police are shooting, police are shooting. Students are ducking, students are ducking, students are falling over. There we go. Police are starting to beat and arrest protesters. And then look at this shot here. Once again, we're changing levels. You see, because all the time we're thinking about how to keep this visually interesting for people. All the time, when walking throughout our life, our field of view is always from standing. You know, most time we're looking above. So this is really creating something interesting when you're filming something at ground level or from high up, because that's not something we normally see. We normally don't see that view. I just want to point out though here, I mean, this is something that is tough. To be in a moment where there's tear gas going off and police are hitting batons and arresting people and people are running, to be able to get these shots and think in the moment, you know, you're thinking about your exposure, you're thinking about your focus, you're thinking about what's going on around you. So this is what's really showing it's a classic news cameraman background to be able to deal with this kind of environment. You know, once again, look at this cop. Boom, beating people, arresting. You see, now right here we get to a really interesting point. Right here within a series of what must be, 3 seconds, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shots. So this is you're really cutting fast in this section of the trailer. That is a very, very fast cut. Let's look at that in full screen, this area here. I mean, that is really keeping the pace up. Really beautiful in the edit. That is going to really keep the viewer interested. Okay? Let's see those shots individually. You see, once again, I mean, the way that this is shot, once again, we're showing depth. Okay? We're having everything lined up. This is what is showing you of what cinematography can do for a documentary and for a news piece. You could have filmed it from the front, but I don't think you would get the same amount of depth as you're getting from this side shot to really see everybody going down the line. Okay, and then look, you gotta find a moment to be catching these shots while the police are tense. It's a tense moment, and you're getting these shots. This is not luck. This is from years of experience. Okay, let's move down a little more. Okay, protest. You see, once again, we're getting back to tight, fast edits. Let's put this in full screen. Look at this. Okay, so we have that shot linger on. Okay, protesters are marching up. Boom, 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 boom. We have a lot of a fast-paced movement there. That is solid. Okay, and into fire. Who doesn't like to see fire? That's exciting for a news and documentary piece. Okay, things speed up. Have our water cannons. Water cannons are always interesting to be around. They sting a little bit. I don't want to say fun because it's not fun for anybody. Okay, let's play on. Again, I want to talk about here. I want to bring that back. Let's bring this back to the fire section. See, fire is something that is not easy to film because it can easily get blown out. But you'll see that that's what, when there's something so hot in the frame, that's what we're going to take our level to, okay? We want our level. Our level needs to stay based on the fire. So we're going to keep our fire as the main hot point. And you'll see we're still not breaking 100. We're not even touching it. Just so that the rest of the frame can stay nicely exposed. So I don't know what camera was being used on this film, but I think I saw Raul out there a few times, and he was shooting on a Sony A7. So I would imagine quite a bit of this was shot in that way, which allows for these kind of really spectacular low light scenes to get a real full perspective. You can see all the lights and all the darks without anything going blown out. Once again, this is knowing the camera. He knows his camera. He knows what he can expose to. I mean, how beautifully lit is this, You got this nice big view, flag blowing in the background. Amazing stuff here. Okay, from there, got a little bit of a scuffle with the cops. Tear gas is going off. Tear gas is going off. Tear gas is going off. I mean, let's just play that through. That's pretty spectacular set of shots. Boom, 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 boom. Movement. The edit's keeping pace. Okay, boom. Cop cars on fire. What an ending. What an ending shot here. Protesters throwing Molotov cocktails at police. And then we're going to get to the title screen. What a way to end the trailer and to say, watch this film. Alright, so that's Cockroach. I'm going to leave a link to the film and the trailer in the description below. This looks amazing, and I hope we can get Raul on this channel to talk about the film and his experience in shooting it, and maybe some of the behind the scenes, and we can talk about his gear and some of the thought process behind the shooting and the editing. And I'm going to keep doing these, so if you guys like this kind of content, please subscribe below. I'd appreciate it, and hit the like button so we can get more people to see this with the YouTube algorithm. Alright, thanks a lot, y'all. Peace.